Whispers float in empty halls. Footsteps echo down the walls. Shadows break where secrets lie. Every echo holds a hidden sign. Blow the trace along the crime, a hush that haunts the night, a fear that lives in light. Unravel lines of twisted lies. In the dark, the story waits unseen.
And here we go.
Hi, I'm Rochelle, the Psychic Sleuth. Spirit shows me patterns across past, present, and future. What comes through can be symbolic, metaphoric, or not always literal, though sometimes it is. Messages often carry multiple meanings that weave together through energetic tracking, prophetic sequencing, and blueprint mapping. I know I talk fast sometimes, it's just how spirit flows through me. You can always replay or slow down if you need to. I triple check what I receive with astrology and cards, but this isn't about being 100% right. It's about truth, responsibility, and integrity. I'm the one sitting with spirit on these cases, so this is a space for truth seeking, not debate. Please respect the work. If you can't honor spirit, this may not be the place for you. And before we start, I want to make something clear. My process has evolved for a reason. I don't use sitters anymore. I don't do live channeling on heavy cases, and I won't be performing on command. That's not safe, it's not accurate, and it pulls the work off track. I work the way spirit directs me, through mediumship, pattern recognition, astrology validation, cards when needed, and prophetic sequencing. Every layer strengthens the message and protects the integrity of the case. Please don't tell me how to do my job. This isn't about entertainment. It's about truth, responsibility, and helping families. If my style isn't for you, that's okay. But this is how I work, and this is how the work stays accurate. You can support me is I have partnered with the company Astrosong. It is a song based on your birth chart. You enter your birth information, and they make a song for you. You can pick the length that you want your song, how many verses you want it. I will put a little clip here of mine. If you're interested, there is a link in the Linktree in the description box with everything else. You can enter my name, Rochelle Lapham, in all caps. Again, information in the description box below for a 10% discount.
And they can see a constellation of complexity. Balance light and shadow with such grace. Every scar became a sacred space. Rachel, you don't need to prove your worth. You've been enough since the day of your birth.
It's just a taste so you could get an idea. I appreciate all your love and support. If my work resonates, the best way to help is through community support for Justice's Cadaver Dog Training Fund. It doesn't take huge donations. Even the cost of a coffee adds up when many give. Shop new merch and help Justice on his mission. Links to my shop and donation page are pinned below. Every purchase helps fund the work. Thank you for being here. Now let's get on to today's case. Hey guys, I'm back. So I had the week from hell. Uranus was in an anaretic degree at the end of my 4th house before it changed signs, and I got hit really hard. It was one thing after another. So that's where I've been. And it was an emotional week. So I just gonna call it a week from hell. And since I understand the astrology, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it sucks. So just a reminder that Astro Song is a song that is made off of your birth chart. It would be such a cool Mother's Day gift for those mothers and grandmothers out there. So it's just an idea. You can get 10% off. Everything is in the description box below. Okay. So today, I'm just going to kind of go over, and the REM pod has been going off kind of since yesterday. I turned it off, turned it back on when I got back home, and it started up again. So, anyways, I've been wanting to do this video for a while. Because a lot of the locations are like all over the place for Nancy, and I kind of wanted to like explain what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing, because I can't see her full location. I can see from her point of view, and all I see is darkness. And I feel like I'm in something hidden somewhere, which does match the astrology. So I am not an astrologist. I am still learning. I get help with it, but from my understanding, that's what I want to talk about today, and possibly pull some location cards. But according to, if we look at the EVPs and the astrology, it's looking like she's really close on some sort of property, hidden pretty well. And so that's what I was wondering. I was kind of even wondering about a freezer. I know it kind of sounds weird, but hear me out. So when I did the killing fields, I kept getting a freezer, and I always get stuff way ahead of time. And then the EVP mentioned it. So either it's another case, or it could be this, because I feel like I'm in something. I don't know. And then I go back to the EVP saying it's cold in here. Now, EVP can be any case. So I'm just not sure if it fits here because I can't see the outside. I can only see the inside. And I just feel like I'm in something dark, laying down in something dark that's hidden in plain sight, kind of like in a shed or in something like that. That's the way that's coming across. And when we talk about construction, it doesn't have to be necessarily a new construction site. It can be, or a place that is having work done on it in some aspect. All right. So I'm just going to read it because I can't remember everything. So I have it written down, but this is a grounded astrology-based breakdown of Nancy's case using forensic chart analysis as a structural tool, not speculation. What I'm doing here is separating pattern versus narrative. I'm anchoring in chart structure and identifying what fits consistently versus what doesn't, because right now there's a lot of noise. So this is a 945 chart. Do you want to use the chart of the last time she was literally seen? And that is actually where the most action is happening in this astrology. So a 945 that is the most important timeline. This is where we see a 7th house activation, a direct interaction with another person, a 3rd house emphasis, a local environment, not long distant movement, Saturn and Neptune influence, concealment, confusion, layered over reality. This does not read like a stranger abduction, a long-distance transport, or a complex multi-person operation. It reads as a direct interaction, escalation, immediate control, and local concealment. The chart consistently points to local, very close proximity. The last EVP I did, I asked this, and Spirit said close. I cannot leave her community. It's a little confusing, but that's the way that's how it feels being there, and that's what everything keeps pointing to and everything that I'm working on. Very close proximity connected to a person or property, not public facing, not obvious or easily visible. More specifically, the strongest pattern is within a property or immediately connected space, edge, behind, under, enclosed type area. Something that blends into the environment. What this does not support, this chart does not support lakes or large bodies of waters, mountain or desert disposal, long distance relocation, open visible terrain. The chart doesn't point to a dramatic or distant location. It points to something very close, controlled, and easy to overlook. The type of space, it reads as a non-living functional part of a property, not the main living space, not the central area, not something people gather around. How it would appear in real life? So it would look normal, not visually alarming, nothing that immediately draws attention, something that blends into everyday surroundings. Position within the property is the strongest pattern, points to edge, behind, under, boundary type placement, which is interesting because the EVP said it's under. They've also said in shed. So it's meaning it's not front facing, it's not in the middle of the yard, it's not openly exposed. It's more like off to the side, behind something, in some, under something, partially blocked, along the boundary or transition space. Why it's overlooked. This is important. It's not overlooked because it's hidden in a dramatic way. It's overlooked because it doesn't look like something you'd question. It appears routine. It serves a purpose. It's not a focal point. Environmental feel is a tie in the water theme is that there may be signs of moisture, treated ground, or sense of something behind, absorbed, contained, but environmental is not visibly a visible body of water. That's another thing. I'm usually really good at seeing locations. Even if it's not exact, I can still, if it's like an open space, if it's woods, if it's desert, if it's lakes, I can usually see that. I'm pretty good at seeing people in water. I don't see that with her. I have a hard time actually seeing her place where she's at. I just see darkness. That's all she can see. I know that makes it hard, but unfortunately, that's what I'm being allowed to see right now. And I always tell people everything has timing. There are universal laws, and I'm going to make a video about this later. There are things we're allowed to know and things we're not allowed to know. There's a timing to everything. So that is why. And so you have the 4th house in Pisces. So the environment, now Pisces can be water, but It can also be hidden, obscured, hard to see, quiet, not obvious, sometimes damp, low, enclosed feeling, dark and hidden. Saturn in the 4th is restriction, containment, closed, block, covered. You just don't see it. And I use whole sign because it's easier for me to read. At 28 degrees, it's a late degree. So this reinforces a final placement, set, not moving. Something placed in a way that is contained, restricted, not easily accessible. A quick or impulsive action that led to hidden or obscured placement. So the final location is hidden, contained, not easily visible, possibly enclosed or restricted space. Enclosed, behind, under, covered, low visibility, possibly within or near a structured area. Again, my dark hidden feeling. The 4th house is Pisces and Saturn. It gives you hidden, no visibility, contained, restricted, not obvious, not exposed. So that supports the feeling of dark, hard to see, tucked away. This looks like a place that you could walk past 10 times and never think to look there. So the distance, it's very close to last known environment within the immediate range, not something requiring transport very far. Or even transport at all for the most part. So it's a close property linked space that is not obvious, not central, and not visually suspicious. Positioned along an edge, behind, or within a functional part of the environment, and easily overlooked because it appears normal. This doesn't point to somewhere dramatic. It points to somewhere familiar, just not seen the way it should be. Now, the water confusion Neptune effect. There have been repeated references, deep like references, like related ideas. A lot of people getting water, but astrologically, the Neptune symbolism is not a literal location. It can be concealment, blending, something covered and not clearly seen. It's not a literal lake endpoint. Neptune at 0 in the 7th, critical detail. This is one of the most important placements in the chart. Neptune at 0 degrees is pure illusion, misdirection at the point of interaction, and something being made to look like something else. The initial situation itself is misleading. This supports the confusion around what actually happened, conflicting narratives, and possibly a scenario that was made to look different than it was. The narrative versus reality. You have the moon in Leo in the 9th house. The moon here represents public perception, what people believe, the emotional narrative around the case. Leo plus the 9th house is dramatic interpretation, amplified storytelling, belief-driven conclusions. There's a strong divide between what people think happened versus what the chart is actually showing. The key pattern is event, control, concealment. Across the chart, especially the Uranus, Saturn, Pluto pattern, we see Uranus disruption, something sudden in a normal environment. Saturn is control. Situation becomes contained. Pluto handling, physical control, concealment. This is simple sequence, not a complex operation. Primary actor versus multiple people. The chart shows one dominant individual most strongly. It does allow secondary awareness or involvement after the fact, but it does not strongly support coordinated multi-person execution, organized group action. However, they can be linked to a group, and it can be in other ways helpful. They can help in other ways. That's not going to show in a chart if they're helping behind the scenes or if they're linked to like occult like energy or whatever. Because going by the cards, we always get couple, pack, and then cult. Okay, and it can feel more like multiple people, and this because also is made to look like that and at the time, right? But I'm talking about it's made to look like multiple people at the time when it's really not. But outside, it feels like there could be more people that helped in some way, shape, or form. And that can also be even people that are faking ransom notes and all of that. So it can feel like multiple people because Neptune, blurred roles, overlapping impressions, and confusion around who did what. The kidnapping narrative. Structurally, the chart does not support forced removal, transport, relocation, long-distance concealment. Instead, it supports a situation made to look like something else. The simple truth. When everything is stripped down, this case reads as local, contained, simple in structure, concealed, not transported, misrepresented, or misunderstood publicly. And why there's so many different readings. Right now, you have a heavy Neptune influence, strong public narrative, moon in Leo in the 9th, and multiple people interpreting partial signals. So you have wildly different psychic reads, conflicting astrology takes, and dramatic but inconsistent conclusions. And it looks to me sometimes that I see that some astrologists are taking the narrative and trying to make the chart fit instead of reading the chart as it is. Because there isn't really anything from my understanding of astrology and what I've been taught and what I'm looking at to point to a kidnapping or abduction. Not in reality. The strongest alignment here is not complexity. It's simplicity hidden behind confusion. It's not far away. It's not elaborate. It's not what's being loudly claimed, but close, controlled, and overlooked. This doesn't feel like something that was taken far. It feels like something that was kept close and misunderstood. And there are things that have come in the EVP to validate this. You've had in the community, found in the community. You've had the way that I feel pulled back and snapped back there. You have the last time that on the EVP I asked where she was, if she was close or on her property, and they said close. They answered me. You have, it said property, it's in the shed, lift up. So I feel like she's something you have to lift up in. So, I mean, can EVPs be other cases? Yes, they can, but it's just interesting that it tends to match kind of what I'm feeling and seeing and sensing. Okay, so I pulled some of these cards. These are my most, these give me the most location cards. I do have some that I wrote on that I might use, but this is going to give quite. So we have basement, crawl space. Now that doesn't necessarily mean a legit basement. It can be anything similar to something like down low or a crawl space or something that is just, this is also like confinement, like trapped energy, a confined space. Do you know what I mean? Like hidden spaces. Hidden spaces often used to can still remain. So this is a hidden space, okay? Which we've talked about, like it's a place that's not been checked, that's like hidden. Then we have close, last known location. See, she's not far. We have cardinal, which is in between two directions. Path trails. So this could be like a path leading there. Like there's all kinds of paths around there, right? But it is also this can be symbolic, right? And so the trailer park, there could just be a trailer on the property, or it could just, this could be symbolic for kind of like the neighborhood too, or it could be that there's like a trailer park nearby, but it could just even be just, again, a trailer or a mobile home on, or it could also be symbolic for a house. That did come in as well, but then we have west. It could be a significant direction. Then we have a house and Mountain Ridge. So literally, Catalina Hills are in the mountains. So it doesn't necessarily mean she's further out in the mountains. It's just a house, like literally house in the mountains is what that's saying. There could be trees on the property, and rooted tree base is it could be a significant tree or symbolic of something planted or left behind. And circle back. So circle back to places that have been searched. It's a location or detail that has previously been passed over, now asking for renewed attention. The energy of return may reveal what was hidden in plain sight. Creek or creek beds. Now there's like lots of that runs around there. There's creek beds. And so this is just cards, location cards, talk about the area surrounding, okay? Then we have an abandoned, this is interesting. Now this is going to be like a whole thing. So you have abandoned structure, that's a neighbor, that's a property, okay? And then she's trapped. So this means she's placed on a property, she hasn't been moved, she's trapped there, her body's trapped there in a hidden confined space, in possibly a neighbor's property that maybe no one is living in. Property. And we've had big property come in before too. Then rocky terrain, all that is rocky out there. Crossroads, and this could literally be like where the road kind of splits, but it can also be a symbolic of like two different areas or a split path or a split direction. It can symbolize an anchor point. It can also be like a decision was made. Okay. Paths diverged. Then we have church. So there's a church really close to there that I always feel really weird at. I don't know if this is just saying, okay, the same community as the church or not far from the church. Doesn't mean it's right next door to the church, but it's significant. And then we have shed and we have off the beaten path. So off the beaten path is basically just like a place that no one's looking. It can be anything that is isolated or untouched. Okay, it's literally like kind of a location from routine. Okay, so this is basically saying that she's possibly close on a neighbor's property around there in an area that is overlooked, that's hidden, that nobody knows about, in a space that is almost like blended into a space where no one's gonna really look because it looks normal. Okay, so these are just the cards I made. So we have not visible from the road, which we've already talked. She's very well hidden, easily, or she's contained. Easily overlooked. Now, this is the thing. Like, I don't know how he had access, but easily overlooked. Private access only. And you can't really see it very good. Open space around, so the property or area around it is open. Structure possibly added later. Abandoned property means nobody lives there currently, which goes along with the other abandoned card I just got. Possible has a garage, attached or detached. It could have a wash running by it. I'm not saying she's not in the wash. Okay, we're talking about property here, as you can see what all the cards are saying, but this is like description of what's around it. So there could be a wash around there. Residential home. Off the main path. Ground disturbed, and renovation in progress. So they may, it's got to be one of those houses that is around there, that's under construction, that's easily accessed, that's an area that maybe only certain people know about. Again, EVP literally answered close. So this one, we have areas tied to the perp, furniture, Capricorn, that can be literally brick buildings, and I've seen brick. Restriction, covered at work, cold and calculated. Gemini, Mercury, so this can be literal, like, dual places. Attics, walls, vehicles, dual places. School zones, that's interesting. Metal container, obscured beneath structure, burial masked by renovation, construction site fill, off book location, Gemini split path. So this can be literally neighborhoods, dual access, false direction, possible two suspects, and mixed clues, and destroyed evidence. I find it interesting too with that garage. So I don't know if it's like a garage, shed, or what it is. It's something like that. It could be considered a shed or a garage. But what's interesting to me is the EVP has said shed, and they've also said garage. So, and I've pulled shed and garage. So that's something to keep in mind, because my cards are matching the EVP. We have multiple actors, and that could be at any point. Narrative interference, body hidden, direct involvement, accidental turned intentional, resentment because of resentment, below level hidden area, planned action, delayed discovery, a fight, which EVP has said a fight about 5 times, which I have gotten in the reading before that came in the EVP. Everybody is chasing the wrong trail. Residential property, familiar to the victim, cover to avoid consequence, secrets, not what it appears, private restricted area, again, scene altered after, multi-phase events, meaning there was one phase and then another phase, and then another phase. Secondary structure, shed, detached area. Now we've gotten the shed, we've gotten the garage, we've gotten the shed again, and we also got it in the EVP. It's in the back, was in the EVP. Lift up was in the EVP. It's under. So I would say that it's in some sort of property that is undergoing construction or renovation. Nobody's living there right now. And there's some sort of garage shed, and there's something in there. Like she's in there in something, or it feels like she's in something. Like some kind of box thing. But like I said, it's easily overlooked. This is simpler than it seems. And so there could be there's two parts to the situation. Water system, so pipes, tanks, containment. It can also be containment, but there could be just water systems nearby, close. Assisted, someone he was assisted after the fact by stick to the first impression. That's my card in this deck to remind me every time I start questioning, stick to my first impression. The first impression came in alive and was the same name that EVP has said about 10 times now. You know, if you've been following me for a while, you know who I said it was before the narrative hit. What I was shown, the person below Nancy, like a son. We looked him up. We found out who he was. EVP has said his name 100 times. Not 100, that's exaggerating, but 10 times. So that's what I have for a location, and it's way different than a lot of other people are saying, but I usually am way different than what other people are saying because I use different methods to validate what I'm getting. So that's what I have for you for Nancy's location as of now. I don't know if I'll be doing anything else. It's kind of just like whatever. There's EVPs that I want to do in different cases and other things I'm trying to do. I've got to get caught up. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and I appreciate you being part of the channel. Until next time.